Thank you so much for being interested in my work. In this video I share with you my techniques and tips on how I achieve this study using sticks and pencils. So I'll be exploring this method, the outline, blending, subtleties and details. Be sure to watch it right through till the end because I'll be slowing it down in real time so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Now start off putting a center point on my board and a center point on the reference, and then working from that center point I find imaginary angles, and then from those points I sort of create the shapes. So it's just starting off just really looking at the whole of the image, so making the reference image small enough so I can actually see the whole, and then just feeling your way through, finding these shapes using the imaginary angles. So I'm just going through this pretty quickly. If you want to know more about how I do freehand outlines, check out these videos here. I'll shine them up on the screen. I'll leave a link in the description below. Once I'm happy with the position of it, I just firm it all up. Now I use a Faber-Castell needlebore razor, almost like sculpturing the actual shape, so just rubbing it out and then just going over again with a pencil. I always like to add the white highlight in the pupil, just adds that feel. Before I start with the colour, just ghosting the image with the needlebore razor there. Now for the colours, the pinks and the white, yellow ochre and a tint, ultramarine blues, warm red and cold red, greens I use, and the brown. Now with the sticks there's no sort of underdrawing, it's straight in there with the rich colours, so it's a different procedure. So it's just a case of blocking in with all these basic colours, so you have to just look at it as a whole and sense what colour is mostly there. So you know, just put a block of yellow ochre there, a block of pink, and then just blocking it in, just getting that pigment down. And it does look a bit cartoony when you first start this, so you have to really be relaxed and just take it for what it is really, and just see it as a way of just putting rich pigment down straight away, and don't worry too much about the details. Just try and keep where the lines are, what you've done with the outline. What I tend to do is just sense what colours and temperatures they are, and then just add that blue if you want it cooler, add more yellow ochre if it's warmer, desaturating for shadows using green and red together, creating my own greens using yellow ochre and blue as well to create subtleties. It's just a basic structure you're getting in there of colour. That's how you have to see it, because it can sort of challenge you, this can, because it's nothing like the reference image. It just looks cartoony and you can get overwhelmed. You know, if you focus too much on the details at this stage, you will get overwhelmed with it and just pack it up and think that, oh, no, this is not working. But if you just see it as getting that colour down and blocking it all in, it keeps you relaxed. Once everything's in, then it's a case of going over them with a paper stump and moving that pigment around and shaping it. The initial blocking is more sort of faster and spontaneous. Now it's just a case of coming down a few gears, just refining the shapes and the shades as well, so you're doing more subtle work. Now for the makeup I'm using a different blue. It's not so much red in it because the ultramarine blue's got a little bit of red in it really to create that sort of purpley blue. So it's more of a blue, true blue, and then blending that with a bit of brown and red. Now using that same blue now into the iris, and then adding that white to the white of the eye, and then just blend that in as well. Using orange, usually use orange and blue for the white of the eyes, what I tend to do, and it's just a case of just keep slowing it down, refine it. But the key thing is to keep wiping the tip of this stump, so every time you go to a different colour, just wipe the tip and then blend again, because then it will keep everything nice and clean and not muddy. If you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Now what I'm doing as well is just letting that colour happen by just opening my heart, connecting to the reference image, allowing that feeling and energy come back at me, and also the colour as well. Now you squint your eyes to see the values, open your eyes to see colour, and open your heart to actually see and feel the energy. So it's a combination of those three that I'm doing. It's just automatic now, and just feel your way through it really. Don't overthink it, don't come out of yourself with tunnel vision, looking at it too much with detail. Just bring that reference image into you and draw it inside you. It feels that way. It sounds a bit hippie, but it does make a difference with keeping you relaxed, and you enjoy it a lot more because you're not focusing on details. The details take care of themselves. Here's the pencils I'll be using to help me with the details. And that's different whites and a pink white. So different whites create different sort of feels to it. So if an area is fresher, I use the Faber-Castell or the Caran d'Ache pencils, and if it's not so fresh, I'm using the Carbothello white. Great combination for the white of the eyes, blue and orange. Adding that blue around the iris first, just to get that in. Now you have to be careful and squint your eyes, because you might think they black, but there's actually, it's a different value to the actual darkest area, which is the pupil. So you have to be aware of how subtle these changes are with the values. Now in the iris there's squiggles, there's lines, there's certain different shapes that you've got to sort of put in there. And what I'm doing here is just mapping them all out, and then what I'll do then is just glaze over then with other colours. Here's a tip for you, just putting that burnt sienna around the pupil just creates a sense of realism to the eye. I tend to do that a lot when I do eyes, just that little bit of burnt sienna around it just creates that sort of feeling, depth to it. To create a really dark black, I've used the Caran d'Ache black here because there's a lot more depth to it. And it's a case of just keep going round really, and just adding all these sort of squiggles and what have you, and just keep glazing with different shades over it. With the eyelid is like a watery purpley colour, so I'm using a cold red and then an ultramarine blue. But I'm just laying the foundations on for the details. I'm getting more and more detailed as I go along, but I leave everything till the last sort of hour, half hour of the drawing. So I try and get everything in to a certain degree of detail, but I always know that I might need to adjust it. So I'm tinting things here with the whites, making sure the values are correct. So squinting my eyes, comparing one shade with the other, and just keep building it up for when at the end I'll put the details in. It's hard to explain really, but you just keep getting more and more refined. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all my Patreons for all their wonderful support every month. I can't thank you enough. If you're considering joining me on Patreon and would like the benefit of longer, slower and more in-depth videos, please check out the link in the description below. Most of the videos in the library are all real-time audio, real-time video, so once you join you get access to every tutorial on the library page, so be sure to check that out. The link is in the description below. The key thing I've found is perseverance. You just got to keep playing, just see it as play and enjoy the process. Just slowing it down so you can see how I do the eyelashes here. Just do it in blue to start with. Just get a feel for where they are. Just mapping it out, because I can easily change that blue into a skin tone colour if I wanted to. So it's best to use like a colour that's in the skin. Slightly adjust them then to where you feel and happy with the position of the eyelashes, and then once you're happy you can go over them with brown, which I'm doing here, just mapping it out again. It's very, very light pressure. That's the beauty of the surface I'm using, which is pastel matte, because you can put these marks in, then you can go over the top of them with other marks and it don't blur them, you know, it just stop in position, so it makes it so you can just, you know, get these sort of effects quite easily. What you see me doing here now is putting some sort of texture into the skin, because the skin's not smooth. There's all sorts of dashes and squiggles. So just slowing it down to real time so you can see the pace I work at. And I'm just adjusting these eyelashes here and there, but little squiggles, little movements, just changing the tint of it using the Faber-Castell white to start with, and then I can glaze over with colour again. You see, and that texture that I'm creating here will stop in place, so when I start putting the colours on you can get that really subtle blend, but you've still got that texture of skin. Now, just to add the chrome in certain areas, just adding that lemon yellow makes all the difference, and it makes this eyelid a little bit more watery as well when you add that little lemon yellow. You just got to keep playing really, just move around, keep adjusting until it sort of shapes up. If you want to know more about how I create shadows for skin tone using complementary colours, please check out this free class. The link is in the description below for more details. Now, to help with the subtleties, I'm using these pre-mixed colours here from Caran d'Ache. These colours are a mixture of yellow ochre, warm red and blue. That's all they are, the same as what I'm using, but they mix for you. So what it does, it helps you to create texture rather than trying to put white down and glaze over with different colours. So that's why I'm using these now. So they're well worth investing in. I'm putting little dots here and there. She has got actually glitter here and there around her eyes, and she's got party makeup on, looks like. So that's what I add in later, but just odd spot here and there, you know, a little glint. And I'm just basically going around putting that texture in with a light Faber-Castell here, but I will be glazing over with that with other shades later. Now for the eyebrows, just mapping them out again, just keeping nice and simple, just using brown and white to shape up the area, because I can always glaze over the top with that with colours again. So it's just keeping it simple, you see, because there's loads of different colours in these eyebrow hairs, but you've got to get that basic structure in first, and then you can just glaze over with different colours over the top. I'll show you how to do that later in the video. But here I'm measuring the alignment on a horizontal plane where it sort of comes in relation to the top eyelash. So you're just getting a sort of an idea of where the area is by just using your pencil on a horizontal plane, and then just going through, just being sort of as accurate as you can, but I'm not trying to put every hair in the same place. It's my interpretation at the end of the day, and all I do is just keep it as similar as I can, because then you don't lose your way. Then just glaze over them, subtle things up, just go over it with other colours and then sharpen up areas again. And it's just a case of being really spontaneous and free flowing with it, and then just glazing with these colours just to create that sort of realistic look to it. It's surprising how many colours there are actually in the hair there. So you just keep glazing with the primaries here. You see red, blue and yellow, and just mixing my own sort of shades as I go along, getting that subtlety correct. Enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean so much to me, as this would help the channel to grow. Once you've glazed over the top, it's just a case then of sharpening some areas up then here and there with your brown. Just adding these little details in now, just these little dots. These are the highlights along the eyelid. So putting it in with white first. And the little trick is to twist the pencil, and the pastel matte tooth will actually take the pigment off there, and then just glaze over them with a lemon yellow to give it that zinginess. It's always best to glaze over with a colour when you use a white. Just a slight glaze, Now I'm putting a little bit of blue in there now. A little bit cold blood blue, I think that one is, from Caran d'Ache. And adding those sort of dots in there, this sort of texture. There's little bits of glitter here and there in this reference image, so that's quite interesting to do. Luckily, in the set of Carbothello pencils I've got, which is a 60 set, there's this colour here which is like a mauve colour, which is perfect for this. Again, very light pressure, and then just tint it over then if it's needed. I just tend to keep it similar to what the reference image is. It don't have to be exact, but if you can get close to it, it just keeps everything nice and calm, because you know what colours to put around it. Because if you put it too random, you know, you can get lost in it. So just map it all out first, and then just tint it around it then, and then just glaze over where necessary. Continue adding those little dots here and there, using a pink white there, then just glaze over around it with the pink and the lemon yellow to create a greenish colour. There's quite a bit of a greenish colour there, so I've mixed that myself by using ultramarine blue and lemon yellow. So continuing really just to put those little extra details here, it just makes a difference. Just a little spot here and there of detail, and the eye seems to think it's very detailed. You know, it's just surprising. You just putting that little bit here and there, the eye just fills in the gaps, and this is what makes the difference. It's worth pushing the boundaries and just going that little bit further. Just little tints here and there, just little bits of varying pressure. That's all you need. At this stage I'm looking in the mirror quite a lot just to see if there's anything that needs adjusting, because when you see it from a different angle it brings out imperfections, so I'm constantly doing that. You can take a photo with your mobile phone and see how it looks on there. It's a good idea to keep your pencils really nice and sharp when you're doing these sort of fine details. It just makes all the difference. Thank you so much for watching the video right till the end. I really appreciate it. If you found it enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. It would mean so much to me, because this would help the channel to grow. If there's any questions at all, or let me know how you feel about the study, please leave a message in the comment section below this video and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, if you want to see any more of my work, please check out this video here. Take care, bye.